Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, episode 27. And it is Invasion 3 and Starman Volume 1, issue 7, not 3. Good. And we're going to finish up the Invasion event, and you'll have my thoughts, and then we're going to cover Starman Volume 1, issue 7 with Will Payton. So let's get started with Invasion number 3. Here's some of the pertinent data. Bear with me one second while I change screens. Excuse the sibilance. There's something wrong with my dental plate. I have an upper denture and it's being repaired, so I have a little bit of a lisp from time to time with this altered plate. All right. So this comic was published was cover dated January 1989. Title of it is World Without Heroes. Executive editor Dick Giordano. Cover artist Bart Sears and Joe Rubinstein. Writers Keith Giffen and Bill Mantlo. Penciler Bart Sears. I love that. I love Bart Sears. Inkers Joe Rubinstein, Tom Christopher, Dick Giordano, and Pueblos Marcos. Colorist Eugene D'Angelo. Letterer Gaspar Saladino. Editors Andrew Helfer and Kevin Dooley. There's a very long synopsis in the fandom, and I'm not going to read it. I'll just kind of go through it as we speak. But it's got a lot of characters. Amanda Waller, Batman, the Blasters, consisting of Crackpot, Dust Devil, Frag, Jolt, Looking Gas, Mrs. Levy, and Snapper Carr. None of them I know. Well, I think Frag's still around, and there's a Jolt in Marvel. Then there's Captain Marvel, and there's Dr. Megala, who I don't know. He is a Captain. Oh, he's from the Captain Adam book. I do remember him. He works for the Air Force as part of the Captain Adam project. There's also Firestorm, the Flash. That's Wally. Green Lantern, Hal. Justice League International, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Green Flame, Guy Gardner, Ice Maiden, Martin Manhunter, Mr. Miracle, Oberon and Rocket Red, Maxwell Lord, the Omega Men, Oron, Brute, Doc, Elu, Harpist, Callista, Primus, Deceased, CAC's dead body, Tygor, and then there's Robot Man, Starman, woohoo, Superman, and Wade Ealing. Supporting characters Animal Man, Adam, Babylon, I don't know that character, Dr. Magnus, Doom Patrol, which is Lodestone, Tempest, and Scott Fisher. Scott Fisher passes away. Gnort, Halo, Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Human Bomb, Kilowog, Killer Marth, Lex Luthor, Major Force, Manhunter, Metamorpho, New Guardians, Fluoro, Gloss, and Ram. Again, Forgotten Heroes created in the previous event. Obsidian, Perry White, Red Rocket Brigade, Suicide Squad consisting of Captain Boomerang, Duchess, Rick Flag, Count Vertigo, Nemesis, and Nightshade. The bad guys are the Alien Alliance, the Citadel, and the Dominators. Other characters, Ambush Bug, Black Lightning, Black Orchid, Blue Trinity. I have no idea who that is. Commissioner Gordon, Creeper, Dr. Fate, Eric Strauss, Linda Strauss. Oh, it's the combo Dr. Fate. I like that, Dr. Fate. Elongated Man, LexCorp, Power Elite, which consists of David Winters, Dennis Blake, Frank Donovan, Olivia Hardy, Samantha Morgan, and Stanley Hale. The villains from the previous issue of Starman. Richard Redditch, then the team Soyuz, consisting of Firebird, Morzako, Perron, Rosika, Victor, Spectre, Jim Corrigan version, Stratus, Udeg, Two-Face, locations, Earth, the Soviet Union, Moscow, Pacific, all over Gotham. This issue takes place immediately after Invasion Afterbirth crossovers, most of which ended with the detonation of the gene bomb. It is the conclusion of the whole series. This issue was reprinted in the Invasion trade paperback. I may get it, because I'll talk when we get to the issue. Metamorpho is resurrected in this issue. He perished in Outsiders 27 during the Millennium event. Yeah, I remember that was stupid. It was established that Outlaw was another of the villains brought into the Metaplex after the gene bomb attacked in Manhunter 16. So long I read that. And then you could show him the Fandom Wiki. It's got a lot of recommended reading. But I enjoyed the heck out of it this time. I don't remember this series fondly. I remember it being a little overlong, a little convoluted, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But I found that I enjoyed it more this time. It is a long read. I would like to read it in a single sitting without any Kirby, I think it was Kirby posted it. Would be a good event to have an Omni, and if they ever have one, I will buy it because I would like it. Read it with all the crossovers because I did enjoy the Starman crossovers, and I just got Justice League International Archive 1, Omni 1, and I looked through their crossovers, and I kind of enjoyed all that. So, and it was neat to see Bart Sayers in this, and he's the back end of that first Omni is the beginning of his Justice League Europe, which is one of the best Justice League runs of all time. So, I really enjoyed it this time. I think the art's a little bit better because it is Bart Sears. And that's a good thing. I like Bart Sears. I'm hoping Marvel will reprint some of his cross-gen stuff because I liked his stuff on cross-gen. I thought it was a really good, really good comic. I can't even remember the name of them. That's terrible. But I liked almost all cross-gen books. I thought they were a really good company, and he did some amazing work with them. But I was looking forward to reading this when I saw his name in the credits when I first started. I am having to scroll back while I fill time talking to you because I'm trying to get to the beginning of the issue again. All right. But it's, I'm thumbing through it, and it's I think this one is the best of the 3 issues. I think the action in the top half is so much better. It's got a great cover. It's got all these heroes: Superman, Martian Manhunter, Mr. Miracle, Starman, Captain Atom, Dr. Fate, Hal Jordan, Hawkman, Deadman. Some people in the back, I'm having a hard time seeing who they are. Animal Man's one of them. Rocket Red, Power Girl, Spectre, Wonder Woman, Booster Gold, Firestorm. Looking good. The metagene bomb going off is everything's black and white except for the ship where our heroes are on. And you see it happening all over the world, and we get a little on the second page. First page is it from Earth, and then you see on page 2, you see 5 different cities or areas: Moscow, the South Pacific, Cuba, New York, and Gotham. Everybody being with the bomb going off. And Superman, he's flying off into exile. This is the beginning of the exile storyline for him, and he watches it from above. Then that's on page 3, and then there are 4 more black and white negative image things. One, Duluth, where Green Lantern is. Louisiana, where Amanda Waller is. Kansas City, where Doom Patrol's headquarters is. And Animal Man is in Central Florida. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know you were a Florida guy. Sorry, people in Florida. And then we cut to the Dominators, and it's just beautifully drawn. The Dominator set up the bomb against express orders or without orders, is flying off to get promoted. I don't think so. And then we see Major Force not being served at a bar because he's a prat, and then he feels sick. We see on the next page Captain Atom's powers going out of control. Starman is noticing that all the villains in the Elite Force the Power Elite are changing. He almost gets swallowed by the Giant, but it's not affecting him. It's affecting any hero whose powers are physically part of them, that they were charged. And this is the beginning of the whole metagene thing, is that some people on Earth have metagenes and it can be triggered. It's kind of like an X-Men where if you're a mutant, when you get into puberty, your power norm will manifest, but it normally takes a triggering event to make it happen, and especially when it's like in Marvel where they added a secondary mutation. And then we cut to it happening to Lodestone, Tempest, and Scott Fisher of the Doom Patrol at the funeral for Celsius and Negative Woman. I guess it's Negative Woman. And it's happening at the Flash, Elongated Man, Black Lightning. It's happening at Belle Reve, and it's just happening all over the place. And finally, it's getting in the news that something's going on. That the heroes are all going crazy. Ealing, Lord, Oberon, Dr. Megala are all trying to figure out what's going on. Hal and I like that Hal. There's a part of this where Hal and Guy have to team up, and they're kind of asses to each other. We get a little Booster Gold, Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle saving Animal Man. The plane with the 3 people from the New Guardians crashes in South Africa, where they're headquartered, and they're rescued by Gnort. That's right. The Green Lanterns were here on Earth. That's right. Mr. Miracle and Hawkman come to the aid. And inside the prison, Vertigo and Nightshade, Nightshade's just messing with people because her power's out of control, and Vertigo's begging for help. We're under of Soyuz. In Moscow, we get to see the Red Rocket Brigade stopping Firestorm and the powerful people of Soyuz. Manhunter and Starman are not affected, but Flash is. Why is Starman not affected? Why? He's got superpowers that he was given by something. We'll find out later. But they're teaming up with that. There's also Doc Fate and Spectre trying to stop it. So they're all doing this thing, and all these heroes are going out of control. Meanwhile, the Omega Men and the Blasters are in a ship, and they're going to go back to Earth to see if they can help. Lex Luthor tries to use this as a power grab, as he would. Then part 2 starts at the Metaplex, and this is a great page. It's when they walk into the sick bay, really, which is page 33 of 81, counting the cover in the app. And it's all these superheroes in it's just an open floor space with nothing but hospital beds. And you have Ealing, you have Megala and his manservant, Maxwell Lord, Amanda Wheeler, and Dr. Magnus, all trying to figure out what's going on with the heroes. Oberon's distraught. Blue Beetle and Guy and Martian Manhunter stopped by Green Flame's room, and as they leave, Guy creates green energy flowers for his girlfriend, or the woman he loves, Ice Maiden. It's very sweet. Then, they're going through the data of why all these people are, been knocked out, and the 3 things they're looking at on the computer screen is Firestorm, Creeper, and Dr. Fate. Dr. Meglin and Dr. Magnus are trying to figure this out. And then we cut to the heroes unaffected, Red Rocket, the Justice League members, Starman, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Robot Man, Martian Manhunter, and they're given the mission to go into space. And while they're being briefed by Max Lord and Amanda Waller, Maxwell Lord passes out from the effects of Metagene. Remember, he's got we find out he's got it. Batman has retrieved Major Force and dumps him off at the Metaplex. And while the non-powered heroes in the news covers them, and they're covering that there's looting and bad guys are robbing things. They don't think there's superheroes around, but Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and the other non-heroes are doing their best. But where is Superman? And then we cut to the 2 Green Lanterns carrying their 4 compatriots off into space. They run into Superman, and then and they're all going to head off to the Dominator's world, or they're all going to go track down whoever blew it up. I guess they know it's the Dominators. But they get in the ship with that now just appears of the Blasters and the Omega Men. And then we have a big superhero gathering panel. I posted it yesterday. And they start their plan. They start planning, or they come to the thing. They're all going to go in this together. We see Scott Fisher passing away, and it really affecting Megala, and Amanda's a little worried about her nemesis, Max Lord. I like that. Green Lantern goes and gives Callista his condolences to the loss of Primus. It's a nice little scene. The Dominators have basically, they know about what's going on. They know what's going on. And we get to their world, and it's covered in, it's got like a ring of debris around it. Cap Snappercar's power to teleport. He takes down a Martian Manhunter disguised as a Dominator. And then they hide inside the ring. And then we cut back to Earth, and we find out that this is where we find out Metamorpho has been resurrected because of the Mega Gene Bomb. So he must have just been dormant. Robot Man's walking with John Jones. No one's going to think that this Dominator, there's a robot. That's cool. But they get in there, and they find the guy who set off the bomb. And he's in a prison cell because they don't want, he's not they get what they need from him. And then the battle begins. And it's a nice action. It's, there's a space battle between the ships, cutaways to what's happening on Earth. you know, and we see some of the powers people have. One of the new heroes can turn into shrapnel and shoot it at people, killing them. The Omega Man with the DC hero, the other DC heroes. But it's a good battle. It's several pages and they win. And when it's all over, they head home. And what it is the heroes are cured. And then there's some side effects from this. I mean, so it's not the biggest plot. It does take a lot. It's 81 pages. These are 3 81-page comics. I recommend going on the app and looking at it. I think it's entertaining. I think the Bart Sears art is fun. I think it's fun, and I think if you read it like over a couple days, it would be a fun big. I think it's in some ways better constructed because it's still 12 issues. You just got it in 3 months, and that's kind of, I remember liking it because we got it in 3 months. But it was, it didn't last all year like Crisis, or last 4 6 months like Millennium. It was a good experiment. I don't think it's as bad as it is remembered. And I think it read better this time. Do I think it's one of the great crossovers? No. Do I think it was entertaining? Yes. So, well, let's move on to Starman Volume 1-7. Not Volume 107, Volume 1, number 7. So, this issue was cover dated February 1989. It is entitled More Than Human. It's got a great cover by Tom Lyle. Executive editor Dick Giordano, and it's just Starman sitting on a rock with the title above him says more than human ? And he's in deep thought. So it's written by Roger Stern, woohoo, Tom Lyle, woohoo, Bob Smith inks, really great inker. Colorist Juliana Ferriter, letterer Bob Pinaha, editor Robert Greenberger. Main character, Starman, Will Payton, woohoo. Supporting cast, Kitty Faulkner, Jane Marie Payton, and Carl Simon, first appearance. The antagonists are the power lead and their boss, Harold Melrose, but they're only at the beginning. Also get to know Glenn Wortham, Sylvia Wortham, and a couple other characters. And Star Lab, Arizona. So, there's no synopsis in the fandom wiki, so I'm going to kind of just go through it like I did with Invasion 3. And a great cover. The splash page is we're inside Star Lab, and it has the Starman logo. I like this logo where it's kind of like it's a better logo than the 70s one. I really am starting to dig it. The title's More Than Human, and Kitty Faulkner's in a containment suit, and Starman is being tested, and he's strapped to a table, and it's got this great, well, not great, but here's what the introduction says. When you are a super being, you can't just go to any physician for a checkup. You have to see a specialist. And so Starman has placed himself in the hands of Dr. Karen Lou Faulkner of Star Labs, Phoenix, in hopes of finding answers for some troubling questions. And then there's a little asterisk by Star, and there's the editor has a little editor which stands for Science and Technological Advanced Research. And she's experimenting on it. I really am digging this Tom Lyle art. I forgot how fun he was. And she's telling about his test that it's not a metagene thing. The rays that gave him his powers physically changed him into something else. He's not human anymore. And this is what she said. Somehow your body's molecular structure has undergone a radical transformation. Practically all biochemical processes have been supplanted by a series of, oh, that's interesting, doctor. You're telling me am I still human? She goes, human? Well, mentally, emotionally, yes, of course. But my body, physically, you're almost completely different. What it is she says it's a subatomic process. And that's what it is. And she talks some more. But whatever it was that transformed you, you did it through a thorough job. Your body has metamorphed into an entirely new and unique life form. Essentially, you have become a living fusion reactor. What? How? I can't be certain. Obviously, something predisposed in your body to accept the change, but I can't tell what something was since you no longer have any normal tissue. I don't like to be so blunt, but do you have any children? And he's like, no, I don't. And it sounds like I won't ever have any. Are these changes are the changes reversible, is it? And she just says she doesn't know. And it just gets him thinking. He flies off. And he's upset. He's been in this war. He's watched people get hurt. He's been totally changed. He's not, is he himself? He starts to doubt himself. And then we see a flashback of the war and what happened. And, and then we get the flashback. The flashbacks are really good. It's a single page with him flying, thinking about it. He just thought it was, it's a one-page synopsis. It starts with the invasion. It starts with them battling the invasion. It shows the metagene coming off. It shows the surviving heroes getting together, and it shows them going off into battle. He almost smashes into a plane and makes it crash. He tries to rip his suit off, and he realizes that, wait a minute, it used to be normal spandex. Why isn't it ripping? He remembers, Firestorm changed it into something more durable. That pisses him off, and he starts using his powers and throwing stuff and being destructive. And we cut back to Atlanta Medical Center where the Power Elite people are. And one of his people has been affected. These 6 had a particularly strong reaction. Oh, they've all been knocked out by the power. Oh, they're all out still. Oh, wow. And they're being flown off. That's cool. So they can come back later. I'm enjoying this Starman series. I can't look to kind of do 2 in a row. But he drops down to see his sister. She's waiting in an orchard so he can change clothes. And he's just depressed. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's basically, he's definitely having an episode. And he runs into friends. He has drinks with this girl he likes. He just keeps getting more and more angry. And he starts lashing out. He mashes a dumpster. And then he goes to see Glenn, who's still resting up, the fireman, and they have a conversation, and Glenn goes, come with me, and he takes him to this place where all these kids have, they're missing limbs, they're paralyzed, they're missing eyes, and he realized that he's a hero to these kids, that they all start appreciating it, that what he does have meaning, that it affects somebody, that he's a hero, he saved lives, and these kids know that, and he tell them, it's cool you're a hero. And then he plays with them, and he shows them some of his power, and then there's this little kid, Barry, who doesn't want his first prosthetic leg. He's got an amputated leg, and he doesn't want it because he thinks it looks silly. And then Starman comes in and tells him about Weird, and he tells him about himself, and they bond over it. And then he convinces the kid it's okay, and then Barry walks out on his prosthetic. It's very simple. Oh, and it ends with him going home and saying, when she goes, so are you ready to talk about it? Yes, sis, I think I am. So this is like every TV show ever where, in the old days of the 28 episode shows or 25 episode shows, this is just a character piece. We're seeing the cause and effect on Will of him becoming Starman and then having his, going into his first big crossover, as it were, and traveling into space, going to an alien planet, fighting bad guys, seeing people die. So I like these issues, and I don't think they do them in modern comics as much, which is whatever. But this is a really good one. Roger Stern, being Roger Stern, he's one of my favorite comic writers of this era. I'm really starting to like Will. I think I know him now. I feel for him that I didn't want this change. Yes, I like being a superhero, but at what cost? There has to be some of that woe is me. It doesn't have to be, all the way to Marvel angst or other comics angst, but, there has to be, there's growth, there's personal growth, there's change, there's conflict, and the questioning of oneself, which everybody does on some level or another. I really enjoyed this issue. I'm really enjoying Starman. I think the art's getting better and better. The purple and yellow uniform is really growing on me. But again, I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm looking forward to 8 and 9 next week. And I think I'm going to get I think I'm going to ask some people to come on and talk about, and maybe join me on an episode so I get their input. What do you think? Think that's a good idea? I thought you did. All right, folks, that's it for this week. I'm going to end it up. This is almost 25 minutes. Crazy work. This will go up. You're either going to get this on today, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on what happens when I finish. What happens after I finish recording, and if I get sidetracked. It works crazy. There's a lot going on, and I got to make a phone call at 6, have a little meeting. So, folks, as always, check out, hopefully Thursday, we will have a Legion episode. Oh, probably, I may. I have a coworker of 10 years leaving, and there's a goodbye party Thursday afternoon, so I got to work late. And so that may be, but this weekend I'm going to talk the final JSA, Justice Society of America #5, which is the end of the first arc, and then give you my overview, what I thought of the first 5 issues. All right. And also coming up on the 24th, me and Ron on Fantastic Podcast, the Fantastic Comic Book Fan Podcast, are talking, and we're both releasing an episode. Mine will be on Howard the Duck. His will be on Steve Gerber. Ooh, see the connection. Steve Gerber, Howard the Duck. Who knew? And I hope you listen to that. So, folks, as always, be smart, be safe. Please be kind to one another. Say hi to a stranger. It's not that terrifying. And just start brightening someone else's day up. And read some comics. Read some Starman comics.